Survival horror is a state of mind that's brought about by the forced vulnerability inflicted on the player from the game.
Anybody there?
You are usually alone, resources are scarce, and stuck in a grim or desperate situation, from trap-laden manors to dangerous research facilities. You're forced to think about your actions, navigate dangerous areas, and deal with things much more hostile and powerful than you. In some places, survival horror has changed a lot over the years, and in others it's almost remained exactly the same. How do you define such a homogenized genre? What makes it what it is? Is it the tank controls, resource management, science labs, using items to save the game? Or am I just describing Resident Evil again? Survival horror is something different to everyone, but I think maybe resource management is one of the things that defines survival horror, more so than other aspects. Lots of games have it, but not many survival horror games don't have it. Vulnerability through limited resources is definitely something worth worrying about. When you're low on healing items and ammo, the dread builds steadily that something nasty could lurk behind the next door. Games like Resident Evil obviously take it further, with saving the game being tied to resource management. It could be a long way back to the last save if you weren't careful with what you had when you had it. But on the other end of the scale, there's something satisfying about being decked out and walking into a boss arena or room full of enemies. But remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. Resource management is usually associated with slower games where you can carefully think about your inventory as you gaze into the item box in the save zone, choosing what to take with you and leaving yourself enough space to pick up new things. The beauty of repeat playthroughs of games like Resident Evil and Signalis is that you know what you'll need and when you'll need it. There's no wasting time. But that first playthrough again will leave you at a loss, stuck between picking up a box of ammo for your gun or a first aid kit for your dwindling health. There's so much strategy and decision making. Do I use the first aid kit now or save it for later? What if I need it later more than I need it now? On the other hand, games like STALKER and Amnesia The Bunker's shell shock mode force you to think about things on the go. There's no way to pause the game in STALKER and check your inventory, and whilst Amnesia The Bunker lets you pause in the normal game, shell shock mode doesn't give you that grace either, forcing you to deal with their respected horrors whilst you organise your things. If you can in time. In many ways, it's like reaching down for your gun to find it isn't there, and by then it's too late. While STALKER allows you to save whenever you want, Amnesia The Bunker refuses you even that. Come prepared, or witness your death and then come prepared the next time. The thing that resource management does best is apply to a number of things that you wouldn't initially think of. Health, ammo, and saving have been staples in too many games to even mention, and it's still a given in horror games today. The more unusual things are often the better, taking away resources that you didn't know you lent on so hard. How about being able to see? Games like Penumbra have a flashlight that requires batteries, but it's mostly optional. The glow stick you get in that game might not have the reach, but it's better than being in total darkness, like Amnesia Rebirth, which challenges you to manage matchsticks, being more unforgiving than its predecessor, Amnesia The Dark Descent, which in comparison was pretty liberal with its tinderboxes and lamp oil. Rebirth forces you through many sections with just a few matches to light your way, and an oil lamp that ran out rapidly in the darkness. And the darkness is not really something you want to be left in. To keep going, Resident Evil 2 has enemies that poison you, and it'll slowly decrease your health until you die, so you better keep some blue herbs on you to combat that. Metro has gas masks that will expose you to a poisonous atmosphere if you run out of filters for it. But a more common one you probably won't think of immediately is money.
Got something that might interest you.
If If you don't have money in Resident Evil 4, then you can't upgrade your weapons or buy items, and the game is considerably harder with unupgraded items. STALKER has shops where you can sell your artifacts, buy better guns, medkits, and better armor. Enemies get tougher, your equipment needs to be improved if you hope to keep up. Metro again uses it in a unique way, with the money being military-grade ammunition. You purchase normal ammo with it, but you can still choose to load it in your gun and defend yourself with it. It does more damage than the bullets made in the Metro, but in a sticky situation, can you afford to choose your money over your life? Nearly everything about resource management is a caveat. You can do this, but only if you do that. A game of trade-offs. Waste an item now or wait until later. But can you? You might be dead later, you might need it now. The eternal paradox. Crow Country asks you to waste a bullet shooting a box to see if there's anything inside it, like ammo or health. Randomized elements like this mean there's a chance you'll get something out of it, and there's also a chance that you've just wasted a bullet. Even food and water are resources you need to manage in more survival-oriented games. The forest has a stamina gauge that's dictated by how much water and food you have in your system. If you're too tired to survive, then you simply won't. Though to go back to the roots, money isn't usually an item that you'll find taking up slots in your inventory. Resident Evil 4 has no real limit to how much money you can hold, and neither does STALKER. Food and water, however, are more challenging. STALKER's inventory is limited by weight, and whilst you can find artifacts to boost your inventory capacity by increasing your stamina to hold things, you still have a limit. It'll slow you down until you can't run, and in that game you really need to be able to run. Resident Evil 4, they take up slots like every other item, and again, you can boost your case size, but not infinitely. Is inventory space better when you have a limit to it though? Or should you have everything on you and have the resource management depend entirely on what you're able to find? The age-old question. It is more strategic to rearrange your inventory to only take what you need, but having everything on hand is more convenient until you've run out of something. Inventory space in general is a controversial topic. Why do 180 pistol rounds take up the same amount of space as a key? Maybe STALKER did it better, attributing weight to each item you pick up, or maybe only having so many in the game to begin with, so even if you pick up every single pistol round, it might not be enough to deal with all your problems if you don't use them wisely. But regardless, it all boils down to the same thing. Either you have what you need or you don't. Whether it's all back in the item chest in the save room or not, it isn't any good there when the problem is in front of you. Like all horror, it's only as scary as you are prepared for it. Resource management puts that on you. Brought a shotgun but didn't bring any shells, and you're still unarmed. Brought an antidote but no health kits, and you're still probably going to die. The accompanying tension is a byproduct of the game's ability to test you, and whether you live or die is based on whether the puzzle taking place in your inventory has the right answer in it. This is the first part of the survival horror series. The next part is on control and how you often don't get any. Feel free to join the Patreon for early Halloween videos, scripts and other updates, and thanks for watching.